This may be one of the most important videos I've ever released that you need to watch. And I'll tell you why. I believe that the future is not just on its way towards us, it's accelerating way faster than 99% of the world believe or are ready for. And I'll tell you why. Right now we have self-improving AI agents that we can tap into right now. And we're on the cusp of AR glasses that merge our digital and our actual reality together. Those two things I just referenced are symptoms of what's happening below and behind the scenes, which we don't see enough of. The nature of exponentials, which, keep in mind, our brains aren't set up to understand. We are organic matter, and what we're looking at right now is the exponential increase of inorganic matter, aka automation, robotics, AI, at acceleration rates unlike we have ever seen before. I'm going to explain this to you in this video, and it's not just going to be me. I'm going to pull in some amazing experts and share their clips with you. A ton of research and thought has gone into the message in this video. I really want you to watch it all the way through because, like I said, it could be the single most important video I've ever released to date. That's not clickbait. That's not hype. And by the way, hi, if we haven't met, I'm Julie McCoy. I sold a 100-person writing agency that I grew completely on my own, bootstrapped to over 5 million and 100 people. I sold that in 2021, knowing that GPTs were going to change the game when it came to content creation. My bet was 100% right. In the fall of 2022, ChatGPT launched. I spent all of 2023 working for a multi-stack AI content marketing automation platform. I was the president of that AI brand for a little over a year and a half, and now it is my full-time job to study the future, break it down, understand it, and help you adapt. Yeah, I've left a full-time gig just to do this because that's how important I think it is. There's so much hype out there. There's so many YouTube headlines that literally just exist to catch a trend. Oh, the CEO of Microsoft just gave a keynote, let's jump on it. This new AI tool just launched. Agents are coming. But what I want to do is bring it all together for you and give you the full picture so you actually know how, when, and why to adapt to what's coming. October of 2024 is and was my last month at the full-time gig I had as president of the AI platform I worked at. Since I've stepped away, you can expect a lot more content that goes deeper and is more thorough. I'm going deep down this rabbit hole. There's no turning back. I want to distill all this information, and in the months to come, I'm building an AI consultancy that will help millions of business owners, people in the workforce like you, and the population at large adapt to what's coming and succeed. It is time to ditch the scarcity mindset and realize that the world we live in is one of abundance, and what's coming towards us is heralding the single most abundant age we have ever had the chance and the joy and the honor and the blessing to live within. It is what we make of it. If we let the decades of fear-mongering from Hollywood and the media just give us this single picture of Skynet, we are missing out on 99% of the abundance at our fingertips because of this new technology era. Okay, so let's get into it. I want to tell you why the future is coming towards us a lot faster than you think and what's been happening the last few weeks making up this giant change. This May, the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, said that we are looking at the democratization of AI. We saw this come full circle in the Microsoft AI Tour event that just happened, where Satya revealed autonomous AI agents, aka little co-pilots, launching within Copilot that will do business functions for enterprises and businesses. And the way this was presented at the keynote was very much in line with the message Satya gave back in May, where he said, we're looking at the democratization of this. The way he presented what's coming is we are putting this in the hands of the people. Go build with these AI agents. That was a major point he was making all throughout this keynote. What stuck out to me was that the CEO of this major technology company, one of the leading ones in the entire world, said, we are looking at empowering people to do things previously not possible. Guys, the impossible is here. Listen to Satya talk about it himself.
The question is, what do we do? And it's how do we most importantly parlay this, translate this into the most important mission that we have as a company, as individuals and organizations, is to be able to empower people to do things that they couldn't do previously with any other previous technology era, right? So to me, that's the ultimate test, which is, can we use, Claire started by talking about how right here in this country, some of the most seminal technologies of the industrial era and the industrial revolution were all created. And the question is, can we now go back to that and really have that type of profound impact in human life and condition? By really, whether it's scientific discovery or whether it is productivity, can we see that flourishing?
Something else Satya reinforced is that work itself will change. We've seen this message from people like Dario Amodei, the co-founder of Anthropic, Eric Schmidt behind Google, Elon Musk, on and on. And what's driving how work will change is literally going to be these autonomous AI agents. Imagine billions of workers out there doing tasks perfectly. They're never hungry, they're never tired, they don't need breaks, and they will work for a fraction of a penny of the dollar that a normal worker would. That sounds unreal and impossible, but that's the world headed towards us. When we're able to launch, use, and tap into AI agents autonomously deployed throughout industries and businesses. And let me tell you, that's coming. We literally saw some of it unveiled this month at the Microsoft AI keynote that Satya gave in the UK. He referenced this idea of a rich agentic world. Listen to this clip.
Now, as I said, if you start with this idea that this rich agentic world ultimately does need to meet us, and we need to meet it, that means you need a UI interface, right? Just like the PC or the phone was the user interface, or the apps on a phone or a PC were the interface to essentially digital technology, these co-pilots, and Copilot is the UI for all of this AI, right? Even in a world where there are a lot of agents that are working autonomously, they do need to raise exceptions, get permissions from us, and the question is, how does that happen? It happens through this new organizing layer for how, in particular, work gets done.
He also referenced how we shouldn't be looking at the future of this just through a chatbot, which I completely agree with, and I think most people are still looking through that window. That is the wrong window. We need to look at this a million times bigger. We need to see the picture of full work and job automation, which is going to lead us inevitably to some form of UBI, which I believe will come from a decentralized currency. All of that stemming from billions of AI worker bots, aka agents, out there, working in unison and harmony, getting work done better than humans ever have. Listen to this clip where he talks about it.
And so that's really the beginning of this Copilot era, where it's just not about a chat interface, but it shows how chat is just one modality of being able to retrieve information, but it does lead to more sophisticated workflows and collaboration.
So Mark Zuckerberg was recently on The Verge talking about how AR glasses will actually replace our phones. The Ray-Bans were the first iteration of what's coming, which has not been released yet from Meta. He believes that there will be a gradual shift towards glasses being the new way we do computing. The reason we haven't adapted yet is these devices are still clunky. I mean, I don't want to put an Apple Vision Pro on my head. It's a heavy device. But I love the idea of using holograms, moving my hands around in the air to control what I could do in terms of computing capabilities. This is an important clip I want you to listen to, where Mark talks about how the gradual rollout of AR glasses could augment and then potentially even replace the use of our phone. Listen in.
All this phone number and then it falls on the phone.
We'll just add more capabilities over time, and some of that are model updates, right? So like, okay, now it has Llama 3.2, but some of it is kind of software development around it, like reminders you don't get for free just because we updated the model. That's we have this big software development effort, and we're kind of adding features continuously and developing the ecosystem, right? So you get more apps. So Spotify and all these different things kind of can work more natively. So the glasses just get more and more useful, which I think is also going to increase demand over time. And how does it interact with phones? I mean, like you said, I don't think people are getting rid of phones anytime soon. The way I kind of think about this is that when phones became the primary computing platform, we didn't get rid of computers. We just kind of shifted. right? So I don't know if you have this experience, but at some point in the early 2010s, I noticed that I'd be sitting at my desk in front of my computer and I'd just pull out my phone to do things. And I think what's going to happen, it's not like we're going to throw away our phones, but I think slowly, we're just going to start doing more things with our glasses and leaving our phones in our pockets more. And it's not like we're done with our computers, and I don't think we're going to be done with our phones for a while, but there's a pretty clear path where you're just going to use your glasses for more and more things. And over time, I think the glasses are also going to be able to be powered by wrist-based wearables or other wearables. So you're going to wake up one day 10 years from now and you're not even going to need to bring your phone with you. Now, you're still going to have a phone, but I think like more of the time people are going to leave it in their pocket or leave it in their bag, or eventually even some of the time leave it in at home. And I think there will just be this sort of gradual shift to glasses becoming the main way that we do computing.
It's interesting that we're talking about this right now because I feel like phones are becoming kind of boring and stale. You know, like I just was like looking at the new iPhone and it's basically the same as the year before. People are doing foldables, but like it feels like people have kind of run out of ideas on phones and that they're kind of at their natural end state. And I wonder, you know, when you see something like the Ray-Bans and how people have really gravitated to them in a way that's surprised you guys and I think surprised all of us, but it's also just like people want to interact with technology in different ways now.
Yeah.
And I think AI, like you said at the beginning, like the way that AI is intersected with this is just kind of like an aha thing for people that honestly for me, I didn't expect it to click as quickly as it did. But like when I got whitelisted for the AI, I was like walking around my backyard and like using it, and I was like, oh, like it's obvious now where this is going. So it feels like we're like I was saying at the beginning, it feels like things are finally, you can see it where it's going. Whereas before it's been a lot of like R&D and talking about it, but like the Ray-Bans are kind of a signifier of that. And I'm wondering if you agree with that.
I agree. I mean, I still think it's early. I think you really want to be able to not just ask the AI questions, but ask it to do things and know that it's going to reliably go do it. And we're starting with simple things, right? So voice control of your glasses, although you can do that on phones too. Things like reminders, although you can generally do that on phones too. But I think as the model capabilities grow over the next couple of generations and you get more of, you know, what people call these agentic capabilities, I think it's going to start to get pretty exciting. For what it's worth, I also think that all the AI work is going to make phones a lot more exciting. It's the most exciting thing I think that has happened to our family of apps roadmap in a long time is all the different AI things that we're building. So, you know, if I were trying to design what, you know, the next few versions of iPhone or Google's phone should be, I mean, I think that there's a long and interesting roadmap of things that they can go do with AI that, as an app developer, we can't. So I think that that's like a pretty exciting and interesting thing for them to go do, which I assume that they will.
On the AI social media piece, one of the wilder things that your team told me you guys are going to start doing is showing people AI generated imagery personalized to them in feed. I think it's starting as an experiment, but like if you're a photographer, you would see Meta AI generating content that's maybe personalized for you alongside content from the people you follow. Yeah. And it's this idea that I've been thinking about of AI and kind of invading social media, so to speak. Maybe you don't like the word invading, but you know what I mean. And what does that do to how we relate to each other as humans? Like how much AI stuff and AI generated stuff is going to be filling feeds in the near future, in your view?
Well, here's how I come at this. So in the history of running the company, we've been building these apps for 20 years. Every, call it 3 to 5 years, there's some new major format that comes along that is typically additive to the experience, right? So, you know, initially people kind of updated their profiles, then they were able to post statuses that were text, then links, then you got photos early on, then you added videos, then with mobile, basically, you know, Snap invented Stories, the first version of that, and that became a pretty kind of widely used format. The whole version of short form videos, I think, is sort of a still ascendant format. But you basically, at each step along the way, you want to, right, it's like you keep on making the system richer by having more different types of content that people can share and different ways to express themselves. And when you look out for the next 10 years of, okay, if this trend seems to happen where every 3-5 years, whatever the pace is, that there are new formats, I think given the pace of change in the tech industry, I think you'd bet that continues or accelerates. And I think you'd bet that probably most of the new formats are going to be kind of AI connected in some way, given that that's the kind of driving theme for the industry at this point. So given that kind of set of assumptions, we're sort of trying to understand what are the things that are most useful to people within that. There's one vein of this, which is helping people and creators make better content using AI, right? So that's, that I think is going to be pretty clear, right? Just make it like super easy for like aspiring creators or advanced creators to make much better stuff than they would be able to otherwise. That can take the format of like, all right, like my daughter is writing a book and she wants it illustrated, and like we sit down together and work with Meta AI and Imagine to help her come up with images to illustrate it. It's like, okay, that's like a thing. That's like she didn't have the capability to do that before. She's not a graphic designer, but now she kind of has that ability. I think that's going to be pretty cool. Then I think that there's a version where you have just this great diversity of AI agents that are as part of the system. And this, I think, is a big difference between our vision of AI and most of the other companies is, yeah, we're building Meta AI as kind of the main assistant that you can build. That's sort of equivalent to, you know, the singular assistant that maybe like a Google or an OpenAI or different folks are building. But it's not really the main thing that we're doing.
So Dave Shapiro has hibernated his YouTube channel, but before he did, he published a really great video on how decentralization is a key principle as the foundation of what's coming in the post-labor society, meaning economy, and the future of total work automation. And he talked about how we can redistribute economic, political, technological, and informational power. And that's how we can create a more balanced and resilient system. And that's going to come from decentralization. The problem in decentralization is that a lot of illegal activity currently happens on the blockchain and decentralized systems. It houses a lot of criminal activity, but my hypothesis for that is that's because criminals need a way to hide their tracks. Decentralization has some great attributes for people that want more freedom. And so the regular person isn't motivated to seek out how to get on the blockchain, how to get inside decentralization. We can solve that with better systems that bring about ease of use. Imagine if decentralization and crypto was as easy as swiping your credit card, which automatically the bill got paid because you had automatic bill payments hooked up. You had auto pay set. That is how simple crypto needs to get, and a decentralized system. Now, I am definitely not doing this full justice because Dave is such an authority on this, but I will tell you that our coming book that I'm writing with Dave called The Great Decoupling. Dave has been interviewing experts on this. We are bringing in a ton of expert voices to break this down and study it. And we know that we can solve a lot of problems in economic inequality, political problems, even technology situations. We can weaken the power that comes from too much concentration, and we can help redistribute that to more of the people that need to be involved in this, the people that are going to wake up and not need to work for a paycheck, and their lives are completely different when work itself gets automated. So looking at decentralization as kind of the antidote and the key principle for what's coming and how it is the foundation of a new world that favors the people is a really interesting thought that Dave presented on his channel. If you can simulate it, you can solve it. Trust the data. Basically, it's this idea that our brains don't understand exponentials. Again, we are organic beings, and we're trying to understand inorganic matter, which can scale without breaking, unlike a flesh and blood human. And I think one day soon we will be augmenting humans with that alternate substance. How we do that, of course, is going to be up for debate. I, for one, don't really want an AI chip implanted in my skull, but I will wear AR glasses. Anyway, back to the point. We need to realize that these exponentials are in fact happening sooner than what we can physically understand. There's going to be a lot more that I have to say on this topic, so I'm just going to tell you, get ready. Now that literally researching, thinking about all this, consulting on it is my full-time gig, and I am not solely working for just one platform in the AI space. I will have a ton more well-rounded content to give you and an infinite foundation of non-biased research. Not that I was ever biased, but now I really have the time, energy, and space to dig into all of this and do it justice. I will be announcing what I'm doing next in upcoming videos, so stay tuned. I am an all-in, go-getter entrepreneur type of person. I love to add to the economy, and I see the potential of not just adding to the economy, but actually shaping it, redefining it for a healthier version of humanity. And nothing could excite me more. So I look forward to seeing you down the next AI rabbit hole and all the associated rabbit holes, because friends, we're going down all of them. I hope you'll hit subscribe to my channel here on YouTube at Julia McCoy. Expect a ton more amazing content in the days to come. As always, I enjoy reading from you in the comments, suggestions for future videos, comments, questions, thoughts. They are all welcome. I'll see you down the next rabbit hole.